Hello from Wexford in Ireland, and here's the great big box that arrived yesterday with my recent orchid order. And it's big because it had 3 flowering size plants. But the box also contained 2 smaller orchids, which I'm going to pot up now. And I wanted to show you how to pot up small seedling orchids, and also to show you a little surprise I discovered once I unpotted them. So the first step in potting is to sterilise your equipment, and I sterilise the scissors with a kettle of boiled water, and also the pot that I've cleaned out carefully. Now, let's do it that way and turn the scissors over to get the other side. Okay, now I'm going to let that cool down before I start doing anything with it, because I don't want to burn my orchids. And to also bear in mind that between each plant you need to sterilise the scissors and, well, obviously the pot. Anyway, so when potting on seedlings, very often a mix of pure moss is good enough. But I like to take my lead from what the seedlings are already potted in when you get them. So, you know, like if they're in pure moss, then that's a good, and they're growing well, that's a good indication that's what you should repot them in. Now, in this particular instance, what's happened is the Cattleya warscewiczii, a lot of the roots have rotted, and it was potted in pretty much pure sphagnum. So I'm thinking that that's a result of one of 2 things. Either watering was resumed too soon, or 2, that the medium was too absorbent, too moisture retentive. So to kind of compensate for that, I'm going to use a mix of fine bark and sphagnum. And there's been an interesting development when I tried to repot the new baby orchids that I got. This one here, which is the gigas, the warscewiczii, the giant one, actually turned out to be 5 baby plants, which is a bit disappointing because it means that, you know, it's not as big as I thought. But, well, yeah, 5. And Cattleya rex turned out to be 3. So that's the biggest of the 3 divisions that I've potted up. And I'm not so unhappy about that, okay? It's a bit smaller than I thought it was. And then I've got these 2 babies over. But this isn't nearly as bad as the situation with the big fella. As you can see, I'm in the middle of repotting, so yeah, it's a bit of a mess here. So I've potted those Cattleyas up now, and here they are in the individual pots. Now, I made the decision to put the 5 Cattleya warscewiczii in individual pots, and the 3 Cattleya rex ones also in individual pots. Now, you might say, why not just leave them together, pot them up as one? But there are 2 good reasons for not doing that. And, well, I suppose the good reasons for doing that is that, you know, you've just less to water and they take up less space. But the reasons for not doing that are, well, if something goes wrong with one of the plants, then, you know, you're in danger of the whole lot rotting. And what happened with this warscewiczii one was that a lot of the roots had deteriorated, and I put that down to the fact that watering had been undertaken because of a growth scene. So some of these are actually in active growth, and the nursery probably took that as the trigger to, you know, to resume watering. Whereas, as I said in the video yesterday, the previous video when I got this, With warscewiczii, very careful watering is needed, and the new growths need to be 4 inches or the equivalent for this small plant before you start that watering. So it's hard to know what's happening if you've got like 5 small plants all clumped together in one, and it's hard to get the watering right. So that's the one thing. And the other reason, of course, for dividing them out is that unless you do it early when you can, you might not get the chance to do it later. The roots might be so horribly entwined that you're not able to do it without causing some damage. I'm quite pleased with the Cattleya Rex there at the back. I've got a decent sized one here, and I've got 2 babies. And these aren't a particular cultivar, they're Cattleya Rex. So I'm not quite sure how they're grown, but there's a possibility that the 3 of them might actually be slightly different plants, slightly different variations. But the warscewiczii one, well, that's a particular cultivar. It's Alba Snow Caesar. So I imagine these are all going to be identical because they've been propagated, well, I don't know, by tissue culture or something like that. Anyway, time will tell. So they've all been potted up individually. And hopefully they'll do for me. So thanks very much for watching. And if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe. Bye now.